What up, Ho Biscuits? It's your girl Skitten, back at it again. And we are back with the glowing background. I really like it because I can make it change colors to like suit my mood, but also to just like complement my hair. Like, my hair looks like different in every light. Like, this is so cool. Wait, watch this. Ah, look at that. Isn't this so fun? Wait, can I make it orange to like match the orange bits of my hair? Ah, look at that. It's so cool. Okay, I'm gonna turn it back to like a soft purpley pink now though, because I like that. It's soothing. Hope you guys are doing well. Okay, trying to figure out the best way to address this so that you guys know that I still love you and I still care about you and I value you because you are my precious Ho Biscuits, okay? But some of y'all be writing stuff in my comments that y'all could just leave in the drafts. Like, let's be real. And so I just want to remind y'all to keep it cute, keep it classy in my comments. This has been a Skitten PSA. Without further ado, we are here to watch terrifying urban legends from Reddit. I like this genre of Reddit content because it's not asking for a specific field's input. So nobody's gonna be like, I'm not an underwater basket weaver, but my best friend's grandma's cousin is an underwater basket weaver, and my best friend's grandma's cousin's daughter's dog told me. Like, none of that. Just, is it an urban legend around where you live, or did you hear an urban legend at some point? Let's hear about that. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. That's a gross picture. I like that.
The one about the midget guy that dressed up like a clown and pretended to be a statue or whatever while some girl was babysitting.
Bitch, excuse me?
Why? I'm glad I don't have to babysit anymore. This was on the joke thread the other day. A babysitter called up the kid's father while watching TV in the living room. Could I put a blanket over the clown statue in the corner of the room? It's creeping me out. Call the police, we don't have a clown statue.
Bitch.
When the police arrived, they found that the clown actually was a statue and the father had Alzheimer's.
Oh, hell no. Ugh!
Someone laying on the ground.
I do not like that picture.
Next to their car on a deserted road like they were injured or in an accident. Then when you slow down or get out to see if you can help, a group of others comes out of the woods/ditch/tall grass and robs/kills/kidnaps you.
That's awful.
Freaks me out to think about 10 people just coming onto the road out of nowhere in the middle of the night when you are all alone.
Yeah, that's terrifying.
I vaguely remember reading a post years ago in some r.askreddit thread, pertaining to creepy situations that you'd encountered in your life. And someone posted this. Best as I can recall, something like, the person posting was in the backcountry of New Mexico, driving home or something. And they came across a car that had been run off in the ditch and ransacked, and 2 people laying on the ground. The guy said he stopped his car, and reached for a handgun he kept under his seat, then slowly rolled by the scene. When he was well past it, he looked in his mirror and in the red light of his tail lights, he could see the 2 people sitting upright looking back at him, and a crowd of 20 or so folks stepping out of the desert. He floored it and sped off.
You would have been a fucking human sacrifice, my nigga. Oh, that was some culty shit right there.
Creepy as hell, but I wonder if it's genuine, seeing as it's a fairly common legend. I can't find that original post. This one. There was a hunter in the woods, who, after a long day hunting, was in the middle of an immense forest. It was getting dark, and having lost his bearings, he decided to head in one direction until he was clear of the increasingly oppressive foliage. After what seemed like hours, he came across a cabin in a small clearing. Realizing how dark it had grown, he decided to see if he could stay there for the night. He approached, and found the door ajar.
That sounds like a bad idea, sir.
The hunter flopped down on the single bed, deciding to explain himself to the owner in the morning. As he looked around, he was surprised to see the walls adorned by many portraits, all painted in incredible detail. Without exception, they appeared to be staring down at him, their features twisted into looks of hatred. Staring back, he grew increasingly uncomfortable. Making a concerted effort to ignore the many hateful faces, he turned to face the wall, and exhausted, he fell into a restless sleep. Face down in an unfamiliar bed, he turned blinking in unexpected sunlight. Looking up, he discovered that the cabin had no portraits, only windows. Holy crapsticks. My dad grew up in Karachi in Pakistan. He used to tell me the story of the backwards feet lady. She would walk in the middle of the night.
Excuse me?
Her feet were basically facing in the wrong direction. My dad and his friend were working the grill.
Excuse the backwards feet hooses? Oh, hell. I don't like being in this room by myself. No.
Graveyard shift.
I fucked up, guys. I done fucked up.
And they were driving home. My dad saw this lady walking alone on the side of the road and saw her. My dad's friend said to give her a ride because it wasn't common for ladies to ever walk alone. So he stopped and asked her if she needed a lift. He got out of the car and saw she had backwards feet. He tried to get back in the car and drive away, but she was right next to him and scratched his forehead. He nearly got his head cut off. Used to scare the crap out of me.
Bitch!
My favorite is called Genetic Memory. Many classic horror icons, such as Giger's Xenomorphs, Silent Hill's Pyramid Head, and other disturbing creatures, share common characteristics. Pale skin, dark, sunken eyes, elongated faces, sharp teeth, and the like. These images inspire horror and revulsion in many, and with good reason. The characteristics shared by these faces are imprinted in the human mind.
Right.
Many things frighten humans instinctively. The fear is natural, and does not need to be reinforced in order to terrify.
Right.
The fears are species-wide, stemming from dark times in the past when lightning could mean the burning of your tree home, thunder could be the approaching gallops of a stampede, predators could hide in darkness, and heights could make poor footing lethal. The question you have to ask yourself is this: what happened, deep in the hidden eras before history began, that could affect the entire human race so evenly as to give the entire species a deep, instinctual, and lasting fear of pale beings with dark, sunken eyes, razor-sharp teeth, and elongated faces?
That's a
Just
good
be
question.
careful out there.
That's a good question.
Not an urban legend, but I swear if anyone can tell me the title/author of this short story, I will give them gold.
How did y'all do this? How did you do this in a thread about urban legends? How did you, not an urban legend, but I'm so upset. I thought I was safe, guys. I didn't think they could do this to me here. I'm so upset. I'm so mad.
A group of hunters get lost in the woods when a blizzard hits them unexpectedly. They manage to stumble onto a cabin and settle down there for the night.
Okay, I'm gonna just say it. If you're a hunter that gets lost in the woods, I just feel like you're not very good at your job. That, like, and I don't know anything about hunting, so I could be wrong, but I'm just saying, like, aren't you, like, to be a good hunter, aren't you supposed to know the lay of the land or some shit? Like, hello?
But when they wake up in the morning, one of the four is dead, with no real idea what killed him. They put him outside but can't do much more because of the blizzard. The morning after, same thing happens, another guy's dead. One of the men decides to stay awake and watch, and in the middle of the night he sees a skeletal hand reach down from a bundle of rags on a shelf and hook a finger into the soft spot under his companion's skull, driving the nail into his brain. The surviving man immediately jumps up and sets the cabin on fire, then runs outside, and as the cabin burns down to ash, the blizzard stops. I read this as a kid, probably a good 15+ years ago, and it still freaks me out to this day. Probably no one will see this, but I always take the opportunity to try and find out what sadist wrote it.
That's why I ain't never
When I
going
was
camping.
younger, the idea of the Tails doll scared the crap out of me. I accidentally got my brother in on it as well, and he threw away a Tails plushie he had. A month later it came back. Of course, we didn't know that our mom found it in the trash and placed it back in his room. My brother made sure he hid the thing better, and was pretty sure that it was coming for him for nights afterwards.
Pobrecito.
I remember hearing a story on Maury when I was a little kid about a woman who rented an apartment who had a creepy landlord. One night she decided to take a bath and lit a bunch of candles to set the mood for relaxation.
Oh yeah.
I guess. She looked up into the mirror and
I
saw a man's face. It was her landlord's. He had made an intricate pathway of tunnels throughout her apartment so he could stare at her as she went about her daily life. Thank God I blossomed into a morbidly obese, small-dicked man, or I would be terrified that my landlord was spying on me.
Awful.
I know this comment will never be seen, but I have been reading these after coming off a late shift with my wife asleep in the next room. It's been pretty warm here the last few days, so all the windows are open. As I read through a lot of these stories I didn't notice, but a moth flew in. I was getting more freaked out by the stories when the moth decided to alight on my leg.
Oh
causing me to scream in fear and wake my wife up in a panic. Having explained why I screamed, I am now in trouble with my wife and I can't sleep. Good job, Reddit. I remember watching a program on TV when I was a kid about a physically violent poltergeist that terrorized a young boy. The thing that bothered me the most about what I saw wasn't the fact that the poltergeist could move things and hurt him, but the fact that he couldn't escape from it. His family would move across the country to different locations all throughout his childhood, but the poltergeist followed them everywhere. The strangest and creepiest part was that the poltergeist would stay dormant for a few months after they moved to a new place, and then it would announce its presence on a random night with a particularly loud and violent outburst, throwing chairs, turning lights on and off, making the electronics hum with strange noises, shaking the mattresses, etc. That concept still terrifies me now, and even more so when I was a kid. The idea that a horrible thing could stay with you for that long and terrorize you when you least expected it. Had nightmares for months afterwards, and I still think about that TV program to this day. I kinda wish I knew what channel it was or what show, but it was such a long time ago and I was really young when I watched it.
Wow.
Warning, this is gross and is the reason I can't eat chicken sandwiches.
And you know what, I think I'm gonna end the video there because I like me a chicken sandwich, so not gonna ruin that for myself. I'm trying to think. I mean, I was homeschooled, so I didn't hear like any real like urban legends or anything ever. But I did read like a lot of like scary books and stuff. Oh my god, I'm doing it. I'm the not an urban legend, but oh my god, it's me. Okay, I'm not gonna do it then. No, not doing it. I'm gonna go ahead and end this video here. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Feel free to leave your creepy urban legend stories down in the comments below. And other than that, peace out, hope it's getting lit.